What time is it? You know, it's time to grow. Just a quick one, guys. So, how do you overcome the barrier when you're applying for a job and you know you could do the job? You've got the experience, but one of the essential criteria says you need to be educated to degree level. How do you combat that? How do you combat that? Right. So, first of all, you're not going to lie, okay? Lying is not going to get you nowhere. We're not going to talk about lying, yeah? Also, we're not going to talk about giving up because that's not what growing is about. It's not about giving up. So we're not going to talk about lying. We're not going to talk about giving up. So you've seen a job that you want. You know you can do. You've got the experience and everything else they're asking for, but it says you need to be educated to degree level and you don't have a degree. Right. The first thing you want to do, yeah, is, and don't get put off, don't say, I don't want to fill out this long application because some applications for some jobs are so long. Oh, it's not even worth it. I'm going to fill all this out and I haven't even got a degree. No, what you do with most jobs, not all, but some of them will have a telephone number or an email address where you can contact the post holder to ask questions before, yeah? So what you want to do is either call or email to ask them the question, yeah? When you call and withhold a number, yeah? Or call from a different phone other than your number. Because if they say to you on the phone, like if you tell them, look, I've got all the requirements and I've got this much years of experience of doing this, but unfortunately I don't have the degree like you, yeah? They might say, I was wondering, is it still worth me applying, or, can I still submit that application? Would it be considered based on the fact that I've got all this experience, but I don't? And then they will tell you yes or no, or they'll get back to you. Well, if they get back to you, they're going to need your number, but they're going to tell you yes or no. But the reason why I'm saying to withhold your number is because you don't want them to say, yes, we'll consider it. And then they've got your number and then they see your application come through. And although they said they'll consider it, they immediately know before they make any decision that this is the guy that called and asked about the degree. So he hasn't got a degree. You don't want them to make that be part of the decision-making process, whether to shortlist you for an interview or whatever second stage assessment or whatever the next stage is. If you email, the advantage of emailing is that you have a written record of them saying that you can still be considered based on the experience you said you had. But what you might want to do is email from a different email address, yeah? Your normal email address might be johnsmith@hotmail.co.uk or johnsmith@gmail or whatever. But you might have another email address called johnnyboy55@aol.com. Yeah. You might want to email from that other email address that you don't normally use, the one that you're not submitting your application with. Yeah. So you're emailing from one of your email addresses, or you could use, your sister or your friend's email address, preferably yours, because you want this evidence on your email account, but you're using a different one that you don't normally use. Yeah. That's not exactly the same name as your main email, like John Smith and Johnnyboy55 is not necessarily going to be the same person, yeah? So you send that email, yeah? And you ask the question. Then you've got evidence. Obviously, on the phone, you could just withhold your number, whereas the email address, you might need to change your email address or whatever. But separately from hiding who you are, the main point is ask beforehand. Because, the application might be long. So you want to know if you're wasting your time. They might say to you, clear cut, you need to be educated to degree level. It's one of the requirements. That's one of the company requirements. We're not going to consider. Then then you've not wasted your time. But if you have a conversation with someone that they have flexibility in who they recruit, or, they might, it might be a small business. They might be the owner of the business or whatever. Yeah. Might be, because you might make that decision. This application is so long. They say I need to be educated degree level. I'm not going to bother. Ask the question. Try to ask anonymously, But more important than you being anonymous is just actually asking the question if you feel like you've got enough experience. Yeah, right? So the question now is, what if it's like an online application and there's no way to contact the post holder? Then yeah, you got to think to yourself, is it worth doing? Yeah. You could take it upon yourself to try and find ways to get in touch with the company. Depends on the company, yeah. But you might, if you can't reach out to the post holder or whoever's doing the interviews, it's strictly an online application, you can't get in touch with the person, submit the application. If this is a job you really want, that you really feel that you can do, and you've got the experience, and you really and truly tick all the other boxes, but you just are not educated to degree level, do the application. Make sure the application is on point, dude. You know, and we will talk about, I'll make more videos about what to, you know, about recruitment process, application forms, interviews. More of these interviews will be coming up. But this interview this video is specifically about that barrier of, you know, some job descriptions saying you need to be educated to degree level, right? So yeah, if you cannot get through to the person, submit the application, but you need to make it top notch. Now, some might say you need to be educated to degree level, and the application doesn't ask you about qualifications or what degree you have. But some will say have a space for you to fill out your education, or some will actually say what degree do you have. Now, if you really and truly think that this is a job for you, and you do have time, because yeah, you don't want to waste your time on there's loads of other jobs out there, so you don't want to waste your time on something that, but if you really truly think, complete the application and see the outcome. Or if there's a space for further information, say, be honest, yeah, and say, I don't have a degree, or don't start it off with I don't have a degree. Start off with I have a, like in the other, some applications have other information we need to consider. I have a wealth of experience. So talk about all the positive things, then say, but I do not hold a degree, like it says in your requirements, and then end on a positive. So it's like a sandwich thing. So you start on a positive, you end on a positive. Say, oh, I've had this wealth of experience, but unfortunately I don't have the degree that you've specified in job description. However, I think I can add value to your company by So don't just be put off by, oh, we need to be educated degree level. Yeah. Actually make an effort, reach out to the post holder, to the job holder, and have that conversation. I recommend anonymously if you can, but it's not important. The most important thing is that you have that conversation to see. And if you not able to reach out to the post holder, then if the application form online has a section where, or you know, they might just ask you to send your CV and a cover letter. So you might want to explain that later in your cover letter. And in that paragraph, again, make it like a sandwich. So you start with a positive. I have all this, so I do have all this experience, but unfortunately I don't have the degree. But I think I can add value due to my wealth of experience, X, Y, Z. Yeah. So that's how you overcome that barrier. It's not a guaranteed way, because they can turn around and say to you, look, it's a sure requirement. Like you have to do this. You have to have this degree to get this role. Then, you know, you win some and you lose some. But my thing is, make the effort, especially if it's a job you feel you can do and a job that you really want. Ask the question first, get in contact with the employer, yeah? So make sure you get the job you want. Don't let that put you off. If you don't have a degree and you run into that barrier, like you finding jobs that you can do, but they say you need to be educated to degree level, you know, think of all the value you can add and have that discussion with them. If it's no, it's no. But that's how you attempt to overcome that barrier. That's it. Continue to grow, and I'll see you on the next video.